share my screen. Evam savira pravara संयोज्ययात्मनम् आत्मनि ब्रह्मभूतो दृढ़ं काले तत्याजास्वं कलेवरम्. In due course of time, when Prithu Maharaj was to give up his body, fixed his mind firmly upon the lotus feet of Krishna, and thus completely situated on the Brahma Bhuta platform, he gave up the material body. Okay. Swante Narayana Smriti, this is the goal of life, to remember Krishna, the time of death. Haridas Thakur also, we are hearing from Gokuleshwar Prabhu also about his passing away. He fixed his eyes on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his mind on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and left his body. So, according to a Bengali proverb, whatever spiritual progress one makes in life will be tested at the time of death. Bhajan karo, sadhan karo. Bhajan karo, sadhan karo.
Marte chalo hoy.
So how you are chanting, what is your inner conscious, everything will come out at the time of death. What is actually your motive in practicing devotional service? So our motive in practicing devotional service should be to only please Krishna. Whatever we are doing, I am doing it to please Krishna. So that is pure devotional service. According to a Bengali proverb, whatever spiritual progress one makes in life will be tested at the time of death. In Bhagavad Gita 8:6, it is also confirmed. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajanti ante kalevaram tam tam eveti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Those who are practicing Krishna consciousness know that their examination will be held at the time of death. So, death will come for everybody. Nobody is exempt. Everything we have to leave and go. So he was also on the Brahma Bhuta platform. Means na sojati na kankshati. He was not hankering for anything, lamenting for anything. Oh, I have to leave everything behind and go. He was completely focused on Krishna. Those who are practicing Krishna consciousness know that their examination will be held at the time of death. And when death will come, we don't know. So it may be a surprise. If one can get notice of the death, like sometimes devotees know that they have only certain months to live, then they also practice remembering Krishna during our life. And spontaneous attachment to Krishna means you are always thinking of Krishna. So when there is love, you are thinking of the object of your love. So we love Krishna. Love for Krishna will awaken, then we will always think of him. How to please him, what can I do? Just as mother is thinking about the child constantly. Where is my child? What I can do? What, like we saw the play on Narsingha Chaturdashi, Jada Bharat was constantly thinking about the deer. And so if one can remember Krishna at death, he is immediately transferred to Golok Vrindavan or Krishna Lok. And thus his life becomes successful. And if we can't remember Krishna for some reason, then Krishna will remember. Krishna is not just like going to evaluate us based on the last moment, because we may be in coma or whatever. Then Krishna may also come in our consciousness. If Krishna thinks, yes, he has spent his life, he has tried his best, and if Krishna thinks, then he can also appear in our consciousness. Like this prayer, Om Namo Bhagavate Narsingaya, it says, please appear, Atmani Bhuishta, Abhayam Abhayam Atmani Bhuishta. Means you have, please appear in our hearts, in our consciousness, Narsinghadev. So Krishna can also, he is God, he can come anywhere, he can come in the dream anywhere, he likes, he can come. If one can remember Krishna at death, he is immediately transferred to Golok Vrindavan or Krishna Lok, and thus his life becomes successful. Prithu Maharaj, by the grace of Krishna, could understand that the end of his life was near, and thus he became very jubilant and proceeded to completely give up his body on the Brahmabhuta stage by practicing the yogic process. So he was happy. Why? Because now he's going back home, back to Godhead. So he's happy. It is thoroughly described in the following verses how one can voluntarily give up this body and return home, back to Godhead. The yogic process practiced by Prithu Maharaj at the time of death accelerates the giving up of this body, while one is in sound health physically and mentally. So he knew some process by which he could accelerate. Every devotee desires to give up the body while it is sound physically and mentally. Because in that state you can think of Krishna easily. So this desire is also expressed by King Kulashekar in his Mukunda Mala Stotra. Krishna Tvadiya Padapankaja Panjarantam Adyeva me Vishatu Manasaraja Hansaha Prana Prayana Samaye Kapavatta Pitte Kantavarodhana Vidho Smaranam Kutaste. This is the word. Mukunda Manasutta. King Kulashekar wanted to give up his body while in a healthy state, and thus he prayed to Krishna to let him die immediately while he was in good health and while his mind was sound. When a man dies, he is generally overpowered by mucus and bile, and thus he chokes. Since it is very difficult to vibrate any sound while choking, it is simply by Krishna's grace that one can chant Hare Krishna at the time of death. So that time the tongue is very difficult to chant. However, by situating oneself in the Muktasan position, a yogi can immediately give up his body and go to whatever planet he desires. A perfect yogi can give up his body whenever he desires through the practice of yoga. Okay, any comments on this verse?
So, like a good student is preparing for the exam, and he knows that exam is coming up, so he doesn't, waste time with his friends playing or watching TV because he's concerned on the exam is coming up. I mean, I was like that. The exam was there, then that was on my mind all the time. So that's what we should think. My death is coming, and I should not be uselessly doing things or thinking about things that will not be important to me at the time of death. So always remembering, always keeping death in front of you.
Yes. Prabhupada said like that we should chant like as if death is coming, right? So then there is urgency, right? If you feel like your death is near, then there is urgency. Like exam is coming up, so there is urgency. Urgency implies something has to be done now. So you're like there is a need, importance of doing it now. Exam is coming, and then there is absorption because of that. Because it's very important for us. And for everybody, death is a transition, so it's very important juncture in everybody's life. So exam is coming, and whatever at that time I will not have. Whatever good deeds we want to do, we should do it now, because at that time there will be time will run out. So good deeds means Krishna and love and care to somebody. Somebody we have, yeah, to some devotee like that, then we should show it before it's too late, before that person dies also. Because once dead, then it's gone. So there's no way to communicate. Okay, so whatever we have to do, they say Shubhasya Shighram. So if something is auspicious, you should do it fast, not wait. So
And
okay.
not hold any grudges against any devotee in our heart, because that will continue and we'll have to take another birth if we have some hatred or something, like that's what Prabhu was also saying, that if you have borrowed money from someone, you return it. don't hold a debt,
Yeah.
because then you'll have to come back.
Mhm. Yes. If you know something you have offended somebody, then you beg
Mhm.
forgiveness. Beg forgiveness from that person. And yeah, if you feel somebody has offended you, then forgive. Don't hold anything. So like that. And that's Brahmabhuta platform, not hankering and not lamenting. Of course, lamentation can be there, like Madhvendra Puri was lamenting, "Oh, Mathura Nath, I did not serve you." But that is spiritual lamentation. That's so Krishna, I could not serve, even though they did so much service, they think like, "Oh, I could not do anything, Krishna, for you. I wish I could have done more." So it's also like that, yeah. And of course, that's what happened when, who was that? Ramachandra Puri, right? He saw Madhvendra Puri. He said, "You are not on the Brahmabhuta platform." And so lamentation can be uh, that I couldn't serve Krishna nicely. Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur has songs like that, right? He says, "In my old age, of course they served. Now, if you have not served, and that is different, then we have to lament. But these devotees, they have served whole life. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, yeah, we should not, even Prabhupada said, right, to his god brothers, "Please forgive me. I may have said something like that." So, okay. So, we want to close our account here in this material world. So, no grudges, no, yeah, against anybody. Sampidyapayum parshnibhyam vayum utsarayan chanai nabhyam koteshva avasthapya ridura kantha sirshani. When Maharaj Prithu practiced a particular yogic sitting posture, so he could live his life, I mean his body as and how when he wanted. He blocked the door of the anus with his ankles, pressed his right and left calves, and gradually raised his life air upwards, passing it on the circle of his navel up to his heart and throat. The soul is being raised, and finally pushed it upwards to the central position between his two eyebrows. The sitting posture described herein is called Muktasana. In the yoga process, after following the strict regulative principles controlling sleeping, eating, and mating, one is allowed to practice the different sitting postures. So, yam, niyam, then asana. First, do's and don'ts. The ultimate aim of yoga is to enable one to give up this body according to his own free will. One who has attained the ultimate summit of yoga practice can live in the body as long as he likes, as long as he is not completely perfect. So he can extend his lifespan, he can live when he wants. When he thinks he's, he has attained perfection, then he will live. Leave the body to go anywhere within or outside the universe. Some yogis leave their bodies to go to higher planetary systems and enjoy the material facilities therein. However, intelligent yogis do not wish to waste their time within this material world at all. They do not care for the material facilities in the higher planetary systems. 1 minute, let me add Gokuleshwar to the call. I mean, it's 2 hours. Maybe I removed him. Before. Okay. One who has attained the ultimate summit of yoga practice can live in the body as long as he likes, or as long as he is not completely perfect, leave the body to go anywhere, or within or outside the universe. Okay, we read all this. However, intelligent yogis do not wish to waste their time in the material world at all. They do not care for the material facilities in higher planetary systems, but are interested in going directly to the spiritual sky, back home, back to Godhead. So why the other yogis they don't go to the spiritual world? Because they have material desires to enjoy. So they think we should go to some other planet where we can fulfill our material desires in a nicer way. So that is what. From the description in this verse, it appears that Maharaj Prithu had no desire to promote himself to higher planetary systems. He wanted to return home immediately back to Godhead. Although Maharaj Prithu stopped all practice of mystic yoga, after realizing Krishna consciousness, he took advantage of his previous practice and immediately placed himself on the Brahma Bhuta platform in order to accelerate his return to Godhead. So he was doing mystic yoga before. Then Sanat Kumar told him about Krishna consciousness. Then he took up Krishna consciousness, but he took advantage of his previous practice to leave his body. The aim of this particular system of asana, known as the sitting posture for liberation or muktasana, is to attain success in Kundalini chakra and gradually raise the life from Mooladhar chakra to the Swadhisthana chakra, then to the Manipur chakra, the Anahat chakra, the Vishuddha chakra, and finally to the Agya chakra. When the yogi reaches the Agya chakra between the two eyebrows, he is able to penetrate the Brahmarandra or the hole in his skull and go to any planet he desires. We have that easy journey to other planets. That picture is there about this yogi. Up to the spiritual kingdom of Vaikuntha or Krishna Lok. The conclusion is that one has to come to the Brahma Bhuta stage for going back to Godhead. However, those who are in Krishna consciousness or who are practicing Bhakti Yoga, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, can return to Godhead even without practicing the Muktasan process. The purpose of Muktasan practice is to come to the Brahma Bhuta stage. Without being on Brahma Bhuta stage, one cannot be promoted to the spiritual sky, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada is quoting this verse every purport practically. Mam chayo abhyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. The bhakti yogi practicing bhakti yoga is always situated on the Brahma Bhuta stage, Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. If a devotee is able to continue on the Brahma Bhuta platform, he enters the spiritual sky automatically after death and returns to Godhead. So Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sojati kangshati samasarveshu bhuteshu mat bhakti lapate param. Their devotional service begins on the Brahma Bhuta stage, which is pure devotional service because it is free from material desires. The devotee doesn't have any material desire in the heart. So, because he's not hankering to get something. If a devotee is able to continue on the Brahma Bhuta platform, he enters the spiritual sky automatically after death and returns to Godhead. Materially, he is not hankering. Consequently, a devotee need not feel sorry for having practiced the Kundalini chakra or not penetrating the 6 chakras one after another. So Prabhupada is thinking, we may think, oh, we have not practiced this Kundalini chakra, so we should not worry. We should just practice Bhakti Yoga. I think, as far as Maharaj Prithu was concerned, he had already practiced this process, and since he did not want to wait for the time when his death would occur naturally, he took advantage of the Sat Chakra penetration process and thus gave up the body according to his own free will and immediately entered the spiritual sky. Sometimes devotees, they feel very unqualified. I think Narad Muni also tells, he tells who was worried. He was telling about Prahlad Maharaj, right, to Yudhishthir. And then Yudhishthir Maharaj may have been thinking that we are not so fortunate like Prahlad Maharaj. Is that the context? Something where he says, no,
Yes.
but Krishna lived as a man.
Krishna was reciprocating with you all, and he became a chariot driver, and yeah. So you are also very exalted, like Prahlad.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Gopal Suru is online on 7:30. He said he is going to go back to the. Okay. So next verse we'll read. Utsarpayam stutam murdni क्रमेणावेश्य निःस्पृह वायुं वायौ खितौ कायं तेजस तेजस्य आयुयुजत. In this way, Prithu Maharaj gradually raised his air of life up to the hole in the skull, whereupon he lost all desire for material existence. Prabhupada says, Kuch ichha nahi, no desire. Gradually, he merged his air of life with the totality of air, his body with the totality of earth, and the fire within his body with the totality of fire. So, all the material elements of the body, they merge with the material elements. So, I think Radharani also has some verse like that, right? In Krishna's service, when she will give up her body, then the air element will work with the air element, which will give some cooling effect to Krishna. Then the fragrance, something like that. Right? There's a verse like that. Or we read somewhere. Let the water element mix with the water element, and then Krishna will take bath in that water element. Something like that. So when the spiritual spark, which is described as 1/10,000th part of tip of a hair, is forced into material existence, the spark is covered by gross and subtle material elements. The material body is composed of 5 gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether, and 3 subtle elements: mind, intelligence, and ego. When one attains liberation, he is freed from these material coverings. Indeed, success in yoga involves getting free from these material coverings and entering into spiritual existence. Lord Buddha's teaching of Nirvana are based on this principle. Lord Buddha instructed his followers to give up these material coverings by means of meditation and yoga. Lord Buddha did not give any information about the soul, but if one follows his instructions strictly, he will ultimately become free from material coverings and attain Nirvana. When a living entity gives up the material coverings, he remains a spirit soul. The spirit soul must enter into the spiritual sky to merge into the Brahman effulgence. Unfortunately, unless the living entity has information of the spiritual world and the Vaikunthas, there is 99.9% chance of falling down again into material existence. There is, however, a small chance of being promoted to spiritual planet from the Brahman effulgence or the Brahma Jyoti. So generally, from the Brahma Jyoti, everybody falls down. Prabhupada says 99.9%. There is a very slim chance that somebody may be promoted. This Brahma Jyoti is considered by impersonalists to be without variety, and the Buddhists consider it to be void. In either case, whether one accepts the spiritual sky as being without variety or void, there is none of the spiritual bliss which is enjoyed in the spiritual planets, the Vaikunthas or Krishna Lok. In the absence of varieties of enjoyment, the spirit soul gradually feels an attraction to enjoy a life of bliss. And not having any information of Krishna Lok or Vaikuntha, he naturally falls down to material activities in order to enjoy material varieties. So the soul wants to enjoy. So in the Brahma Jyoti, there is no enjoyment. So he feels, and he doesn't know about Krishna Lok, where there is enjoyment. So he comes back to the material world to enjoy different varieties of enjoyment here. Okay. Any comments on this verse? Anybody else? Okay. Go to the next verse. Khanyakashe dhravam toe yatha sthanam vibhagashah shitimambasi tat tejasya ado vayonabhasya amum. Is Alankar Prabhu there on the call? It's not there. Okay. In this way,
Yes, Prabhu.
You have any comments?
No, Prabhu.
If you are hearing. Okay. In this way, according to different positions of various parts of the body, Prithu Maharaj merged the whole of his senses with the sky, his bodily liquids such as blood and various secretions with the totality of water, and he merged earth with water, then water with fire, fire with air, air with sky, and so on. In this verse, 2 words are very important. Yathasthanam vibhagashaha. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 5th chapter, Lord Brahma clearly explained to Narad how the creation took place, and he explained one step after another the proper divisions of the senses, the controller of the senses, the object of the senses, and the material elements. And he explained how they are created one after another: the air from sky, the fire from air, the water from fire, the earth from water, etc. It is important to know that thoroughly the process of creation as it applies to this cosmic manifestation. So, from the subtle elements, the more grosser elements are coming about. Similarly, this body is also created according to the same process by the Supreme Lord. The personality of Godhead, after entering the universe, creates the cosmic manifestations one after another. Similarly, the living entity, after entering a womb of mother, also collects its gross and subtle bodies, taking ingredients from the totality of sky, air, fire, water, and earth. So, our body is made up of a combination of all this. The words yathasthanam vibhagasha indicate that one should know the process of creation and should meditate upon the creative process inversely and thus become free from material contamination. So, inversely, we should meditate going from the gross elements to the subtle elements, and the most subtle is the sound. So, in the beginning, there was the sound, it says, and then from the sound, this whole material creation came about. So, then coming back to the transcendental sound, anavriti hi shabdat, that will, this transcendental sound will free us from this. And that transcendental sound is the sound of what? Ultimately, that sound is the
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna mantra. That's the main thing. So we should develop a taste for chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Then that will do everything. This chanting of the holy name will do everything. And avoid offenses like that. Niraparadhe nam tar
तार मध्य सर्वश्रेष्ठ हरि नाम संकीर्तन निरपराधे नाम ले पाया प्रेम धन.
Niraparadhe nam. So without offense when we chant, then we get prem. Okay, so volume.
If Prthu Maharaj turned into a devotee, why is he doing all of this?
I think he wants to leave it when he likes. So he's
That devotee can do also, right?
Yeah. Yogis can also do. Devotees can do when they like. If they don't have the yogic process, like in the yogic siddhis, they can leave whenever they like. So he was already Krishna conscious. So he maybe he's calling. Who's calling? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I am ready. Present the Prabhu.
Yeah, so you have to join that. Let me call you on Skype. You will sign on Skype, Prabhu.
Oh, I just got join call.
Okay, so let me let me call you on Skype 1 minute.
No, I just got the join call thing.
So you have to click on that join call.
The click is not working.
It's not working. Maybe let me call you. You will get a call from me. 1 minute, Prabhu. You are getting that call?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you can maybe accept. Okay, Prabhu. We are connected now. Thank you, Prabhu.
Oh,
Coming to the call.
okay. I'm using Skype after many years.
Yeah. So we were reading this Prthu Maharaj leaving his body. So if you want, in the sequence, we are on this 4:23:15 right now. So we can continue. I'll share. You can see my screen, Prabhu.
Yeah. Can you make it bigger?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, we start Radha Madhav. How much time we have? Sorry, I'm joining late.
You can directly speak on this verse and other few verses. If we just read in sequence. So if you however you want to do, we can start with this verse and then.
Oh, I just read and speak also. How is it? Class also, na?
Yeah, the class. Yeah. So we read the translation purport and then you can speak. Yeah. So We can go till about 8:30, 8:40.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4. I can't read chapter.
23. It's 23. And
Chapter
verse
23, verse number 15. Utsarpayam stutam murdhini क्रमेणावेश्य निष्प्रह वायुं वायोषितौ कायं तेजसी आयुयुजत. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. In this way, Prthu Maharaj gradually raised his air of life up to the hole in his skull, whereupon he lost all desire for material existence. Gradually he merged his air of life with the totality of air, his body with the totality of earth, and the fire within his body with the totality of fire. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When the spiritual spark, which is described as 1/10,000th part of the tip of a hair, is forced into material existence, that spark is covered by gross and subtle material elements. The material body is composed of 5 gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether, and 3 subtle elements: mind, intelligence, and ego. When one attains liberation, he is freed from these material coverings. Indeed, success in yoga involves getting free from these material coverings and entering into spiritual existence. Lord Buddha's teachings of Nirvana are based on this principle. Lord Buddha instructed his followers to give up these material coverings by means of meditation and yoga. Lord Buddha did not give any information about the soul, but if one follows his instructions strictly, he will ultimately become free from the material coverings and attain nirvana. When a living entity gives up the material covering, he remains a spirit soul. The spirit soul must enter into the spiritual sky to merge into the Brahma effulgence. Unfortunately, unless the living entity has information of the spiritual mult and the Vaikunthas, there is a 99.9% chance of his falling down again into material existence. There is, however, a small chance of being promoted to a spiritual planet from the Brahma effulgence or the Brahma Jyoti. This Brahma Jyoti is considered by impersonalists to be without variety, and the Buddhists consider it to be void. In either case, whether one accepts the spiritual sky as being without variety or void, there is none of the spiritual bliss which is enjoyed in the spiritual planets, the Vaikunthas or Krishna Loka. In the absence of varieties of enjoyment, the spirit soul gradually feels an attraction to enjoy a life of bliss. And not having any information of Krishna Loka or Vaikuntha Loka, he naturally falls down to material activities in order to enjoy material varieties. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna devotees, I am again happy to interact with all of you via this Skype class. So we are reading this very uh, important part of Srimad Bhagavatam, where how Prthu Maharaj is giving up his body and ascending to spiritual planets is being described. We see birth is very common topic discussed, but death or leaving the body is not a common topic to be discussed generally among people. If there is death in the house and you go and visit, there's hardly any conversation because people don't know what to talk, and they keep the children away and other people away. And if there's an accident on the road and there's a dead body, the first thing they will do is clear the dead body so that nobody sees. So most of the people in the world are in denial to have any discussion or visual of death. But death is most important because uh, we can go to Krishna only if we die properly. If we don't leave this body, how can we go to Krishna? So Puthu Maharaj is showing by his example how he went back home, back to Godhead. Puthu Maharaj is emperor of the whole planet, having great opulent kingdom, but he left everything and went to the forest. He left his treasury, his royal clothes, his opulent palace, and gold ornaments and jewels, and food and servants and clothes and army and weapons and kingship. And in one cloth, he came to the forest. And his wife, Mother Archie, Queen Archie, she also in one cloth followed her husband. Not like nowadays leaders who do not want to leave the post and they want to continue uh, ruling the country or the state. They have to be voted out by people or sometimes assassinated, then only they will leave the post. But voluntarily they don't want to leave the post. That is not renunciation. A leader should not be attached, but he should be renounced and he should be ready to sacrifice anything and everything for the pleasure of Krishna. So Puthu Maharaj here, uh, practitioner of yogic system, he is gradually giving up everything. For a not for Puthu Maharaj, but for a conditioned soul, the soul is covered by two bodies, gross body and subtle body. The gross body is made of eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. And the subtle body is made of mind, intelligence, and false ego. So when the soul leaves the body and goes to another body, so that time the soul is living the gross body. The subtle body and the soul together go to a new gross body, which means in a womb of the mother or the seed or an egg, like that. So when the subtle body and the soul are together going from one gross body to another gross body, that is called reincarnation or transmigration of the body. That is not liberation. That is continuous cycle of birth and death. When the soul leaves the subtle body also, that is liberation. The subtle body is very, very attached to the soul. And in fact, the soul is very attached to the subtle body. So the soul doesn't want to give up gross body. But the attachment to subtle body is higher than the attachment to gross body. So even if the soul leaves the gross body, it doesn't want to leave the subtle body. So when the subtle body goes to another gross body, the soul also jumps in. And that is how the cycle of birth and death continue. When the soul gives up both subtle body and gross body, and the spiritual body goes back to Krishna, that is liberation, and that is very rare. So here Prithu Maharaj, in the yogic process, is giving up everything. And when the soul gives up everything, what happens to the elements? What happens to the earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence? These elements merge in the universal elements. The universe is also made of same elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence. So these elements merge into universal elements. The fire element merges into total fire. The air element merges into total air. Just like suppose there's a balloon and the balloon contains air and there is air outside the balloon as well. The air outside the balloon and the air inside the balloon is there's a boundary of the balloon fabric or whatever. Now if you pierce the balloon, now all the air outside will merge into the all the air inside the balloon will merge into the air outside the balloon. It will be one. So in the same way, whatever elements this body is made of, when liberation happens, then all these elements are merged into the outside elements, the totality of other elements. And that's how the soul goes to Vaikuntha. So this happens when a person can think of Krishna at the time of death. And that is possible when I practice thinking of Krishna and serving Krishna whole life. One cannot plan that I don't have to do any spiritual activity. I will do my sense gratification and fruitive activities, and at the time of death, I will think of Krishna and I will get liberated. That doesn't happen. What I am used to whole life, that only I will be able to think of at the time of death. There is an example of a businessman who had a shop and he was about to die. So he was lying on the bed and he shouted, "Where are my two sons?" And both the sons folded their hands and came, saying, "Father, we are here. How can we serve you?" Said, "Where are my two daughter-in-laws?" They also came. Two daughters, they also came. Two son-in-law, they also came. Wife, she also came. Manager, he also came. So he said, "Is the whole family here?" And they all said, "Yes, yes, whole family is here. What do you want?" And he said, "If whole family is here, who is at the shop?" And he died. At the time of that, he thought of the shop. Why? Because whole life he was shop, shop, shop. At the time of death, there is whole family around who is anyway going to take care of the shop. He cannot think of Krishna because whole life shop, shop, shop. And he died. What happened? He became a cockroach in the same shop. And after 11 days, the elder son opened the shop. He saw the cockroach. Father, no, he took the cockroach and flushed it in the drainage. Finish. So what kind of progress is this? That whole life I don't think of Krishna, and at the time of that I think of these material objects of people, and again I continue in the cycle of birth and death. That is not good. So whole life we should practice Krishna consciousness, and we should pray to Krishna that at the time of that I should be able to think of you, I should be able to chant your name. And that's possible when we are in association of devotees, not alone. Bharat Maharaj was practicing alone, and he was on Bhava Bhakti platform. And he was on such a high platform, it was easy for him to go back home, back to Godhead. But unfortunately, he became attached to a deer. When he was at the river, there was a pregnant doe, female deer. She was in the opposite side of the river taking water, drinking water. And somewhere in the forest, a lion make noise. And when the doe heard the sound of the lion, she thought lion is nearby. She panicked and she jumped in the river and she died. And when she died, just before that, she delivered the baby out of panic. And the baby deer was in the waters, drowning. So Bharat Maharaj felt so compassionate, he brought the baby deer outside the waters. Matter is over, but no, he thought if I don't take care of this deer, the deer will die. So he took the small deer, baby deer in the ashram. And every day he started affectionately taking care of the deer, so much so that the deer became very dear. And he neglected his Mangalarti and Guru Puja and Bhagavatam class and chanting Hare Krishna and morning rituals. And he started taking care of the deer and keeping him on the lap and kissing him and fondling him. In between his puja and arti and yajna, he would interrupt his program and go and see if the deer is comfortable. And one day the deer left. Bharat Maharaj became mad. The deer was so dear that he thought of the deer and died. Next life, he became deer. So because he thought of deer at the time of death, and he became so attached to the deer, he became deer next life. So we devotees have to be very careful. That more and more we practice Krishna consciousness. It is said at the time of death, there is so much pain of thousands of scorpions biting. That is the pain. Why there is so much pain at the time of death? Because the soul is very attached to the body. Just like uh, if somebody comes and takes away our money, we have pain. Somebody comes and takes away our car, we have pain. Somebody comes and takes away our mobile, we have pain. If death means everything is taken away, including the body which we are so attached that I think I am this body. So when everything is taken away, the bank balance, the name, the fame, the family, the property, the belongings, the possessions, the very body, then there's pain, lots of pain. Because the pain is not because of death, the pain is because of attachment. The pain is not because of loss, the pain is because of attachment. The pain is not because somebody is taking something, pain is because of attachment. If I'm attached to an object and I lose that object, I will have pain. If I lose an object which I'm not attached to, then I will not have pain. So, when the mother takes the toy away from the child cries because the child is attached to the toy. But if there's something which I am not attached to, say banana skin, I eat banana and banana skin is there, and a cow comes and takes away the banana skin, I will not have pain. Why? Because banana skin I am not attached. But if somebody takes the banana fruit, I will be not happy because I am attached to the banana fruit. So pain is because of attachment. And the more we have attachments, the more we will have pain. Why? Because every attachment, every object we are attached to is temporary. The soul is eternal, permanent, and everything around us is temporary. So whatever feeling I have of my bag, my house, my car, my wife, my children, my husband, every single my is temporary and I am permanent. So whenever the temporary is lost, I will have pain. So if I have 10 attachments, I will have 10 pains. If I have 100 attachments, I have 100 pains. If I have 1000 attachments, I have 1000 pain. If I have zero attachment, I will be happy always, eternal happy, bliss. Akinchan. Akinchan is a person who doesn't possess any property, who doesn't has any money, anything. So he's unattached because he has nothing. He is always happy. Atmaram, self-satisfied. That is a devotee. So we become unattached only when we get attached to Krishna. Only we get attached to devotees of Krishna. Only we get attached to service of Krishna. Because mind requires some attachment. Mind cannot be empty. So we get attached to Krishna. How? By chanting and hearing. The more we chant and hear, the more we get attached to Krishna. So every day, minimum 16 rounds, very carefully, we should attentively hear Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And I should hear Srimad Bhagavatam. The more I hear Srimad Bhagavatam, the more I get attached to Krishna. The more I hear the holy name of Krishna, the more I get attached to Krishna. The more I serve devotees and Krishna, I get attached to Krishna. Devotional service is so powerful. So the more I get attached to Krishna, the more at the time of death, I will remember Krishna. And in that way, I can go back to Krishna. Krishna even says that if somebody whole life serves me, but he does not remember me at the time of death. No problem. I will remember my devotee at the time of death and he will come to me. So Krishna is so merciful that if death happens in coma or unconsciousness or accidentally in the sense we are not thinking of Krishna, but whole life we have practiced bhakti, still we'll go back to Krishna. So there is no loss, but there is a very great gain. So every day Srila Prabhupada has given us a full package and we should follow that package, especially chanting and reading, chanting and hearing, Mangalarati and Guru Puja. We should follow this package. So Srila Prabhupada also explains that Buddhist and impersonalist, they want to merge into Brahm. So the impersonalist says Brahm is without variety. It is just all pervading transcendence beyond material existence, formless, qualityless, nirgun, nirakar, nirvishesh, sarvavyapak. And Buddhists, they say void, it's zero, there's nothing. But the Prabhupada said those who follow the Buddhist path, they attain nirvana. And those who follow the impersonalist path, they attain mukti. And they go to Brahma Jyoti. And mostly they fall down, 99.9% from Brahma Jyoti, they fall down to material world. But if they get information of Vaikuntha Loka, they get their desire to serve Krishna, then they can go to Vaikuntha Loka. So of course, we are not followers of Buddhism or Mayavadi impersonalism. We are followers of Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva, and we have this Sambandha Gyan information that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna is staying in the spiritual world, which is my home. And by loving devotional service, I should continue my life and hope that I receive Krishna's mercy, causeless mercy, and go back to the spiritual world. Or go back in Krishna's service wherever I am. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamay, mama janmani, janmaneshware bhavatat bhakti. So we should understand and preach to people that absolute truth is full of variety. It is not non-variety. It is not nirvishesh. Absolute truth has a beautiful form. He is not without form. Absolute truth is full of qualities. He is not without qualities. He is without material qualities. Nirgun means no material qualities, but he has spiritual qualities. And he has activities, transcendental pastimes. He has likes and dislikes. He has feelings. He feels pain. He feels happy. That's absolute truth. Shyam Sundar, Bhagwan Krishna. And he's not void. There's nothing zero. There is a soul. Buddhist philosophy says there is no soul, but there is a soul. And the soul is spiritual in nature. And the soul is trapped in material existence in gross and subtle body. And any intelligent person should use the opportunity of human form to come out of this gross and subtle body and get liberated. That is coming out of material existence. If I am in a jail, I should try to come out of the jail. And after coming out of jail, where I go? Not to the forest. I go to the city where my family lives and I do my regular duties and be a good boy. In the same way, we should aim that I leave this material existence and go back to Krishna and serve Krishna in whatever capacity I am supposed to serve. That is perfection of life. In these few verses, the glory of Prithu Maharaj's disappearance is being described, and one should get inspired that yes, this is possible in this life, that I will continue to serve Krishna, be Krishna conscious, and at the end of life, I can easily go back home, back to Godhead. This is a blessing of Srila Prabhupada, and we will read the next verse. स्थाने आकाशे द्रव्यं तोये यथा स्थानं विभागश क्षितिम् अम्बसि तत्तेजसि अदो वायु नभस्य अनु. Translation. In this way, according to the different positions of the various parts of the body, Prthu Maharaj merged the wholes of his senses with the sky. His bodily liquids such as blood and various secretions with the totality of water, and he merged earth with water, then water with fire, fire with air, air with sky, and so on. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In these words, two words are very important. Yatha sthanam vibhagasha. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 5th chapter, Lord Brahma clearly explained to Narada how the creation took place. And he explained one step after another the proper divisions of the senses, the controller of the senses, the object of the senses, and the material elements. And he also explained how they are created one after another. The air from the sky, the fire from the air, the water from the fire, the earth from the water, etc. It is important to know thoroughly the process of creation as it applies to this cosmic manifestation. Similarly, this body is also created according to the same process by the Supreme Lord. The personality of Godhead, after entering the universe, creates the cosmic manifestations one after another. Similarly, the living entity, after entering a womb of a mother, also collects its gross and subtle bodies, taking ingredients from the totality of sky, air, fire, water, and earth. The words yatha sthanam vibhagasa indicate that one should know the process of creation and should meditate upon the creative process inversely and thus become free from material contamination. Yeah, so it is explained in the 2nd canto that the creation happens when Lord Mahavishnu, he glances on Mahatattva, and then because of his glance, the three modes of material nature and false ego is generated. And the false ego, when it comes in contact with mode of goodness, mind is created. And false ego, when it comes in contact with mode of passion, intelligence is created and tanmatras are created. And false ego, when it comes in contact with mode of ignorance, the gross elements and senses are created. So the gross elements are created in reverse, which means first ether or sky is created, then air is created, then fire is created, then water is created, then earth is created. So this sequence is going from more subtle to less subtle, or more subtle to less gross. So when ether is created, at that time sound also manifests, because sound travels in ether. And when ether is added with the sensation of touch, then air is created. And when air is added with the sensation of, with the form, shape, then fire is created. And fire is added with taste, then water is created. And when water is added fragrance, then earth is created. So this creation process, and then there's a reverse process of liberation. What means that if you take earth and remove all the fragrance, not possible by us, then what remains is water. If you remove the taste from water, water minus earth minus fragrance is equal to water. Water minus taste is equal to fire. Fire minus form, when you remove the form, it's air. And air minus touch is equal to ether. And ether, when you remove sound, it becomes subtle. So, Prthu Maharaj, all the yogis, they know this process. This process is not for us to implement, of course. and not for us to understand also how it happens step by step. It's very difficult to understand. Uh, but theoretically, each element is formed from a previous element. So each element can be merged into the previous element by a yogi. And this is even figuratively, just like if I travel from one location to another location, I will cross many paths and many junctions. So figuratively, I am crossing one junction to reach my destination. So a yogi figuratively crosses one creative element to reach his final destination. The main thing is the destination, and Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us a much easier and sublime process to reach the destination of spiritual world by chanting the holy name of Krishna. The holy name of Krishna is like an elevator. Bhakti is an elevator. So if there's 100 floors, one way is to go to staircase and climb each floor. And one way is to go in the elevator, press the button and reach the 100th floor. So when you are going through the staircase, you will be able to see each and every floor as you are crossing. When you're in the elevator, you are actually crossing all the floors, but you're not having experience of each floor. You're just sitting in the elevator and you reach the 100th floor. So yogi has to mechanically go through each part of the junction to reach the destination of reversing the creation to get liberated. The creation is actually conditioning us. So the yogi is unconditioning itself, removing the covering so that it gets liberated. The bhakti yogi, he can just sit in the elevator and have some Mahaprasad until he reaches the destination. That is the benefit we are having by coming in contact with ISKCON and by coming in contact with the mission of Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by coming in contact with the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, by getting the mercy of Sri Sri Gaur Nitai, that they are so merciful that we are not yogis or we are not gyanis, we don't have much knowledge, we don't have much austerities, we are not much into sense control, capable of sense control and celibacy and renunciation and giving up our money and house and family and able to stay. We do not have that quality, most of us. But still, we can practice Krishna consciousness just by chanting the holy name and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and serving his pure devotees. So Lord Nityanand was so merciful that Jagai Madai were drunkards, and Madai hit a pot, a liquor pot on the head of Nitai, and blood came out. Uh, and what did Nitai do? He requested him to chant Hare Krishna. Nityanand Prabhu was preaching to Jagai Madai with Haridas Thakur, and they were trying to beat him because they were drunkards and abusive people and sinful people. So they ran away. But next time when Nitai met Jagai Madai, again he told them to chant Hare Krishna, Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Karo Krishna Shiksha. Chant the holy name of Krishna and worship Krishna and read Bhagavad Gita and follow the instructions of Krishna. And Madai got so angry, hit with a liquor pot and blood came out. And Nitai, whose blood came out, he again requested Madai and Jagai to chant Hare Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this information and he was very furious. He came there and he saw angry. He was very angry when he saw blood coming out of Nitai's head. And immediately he called Chakra, 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 and Sudarshan Chakra came on his finger. Jagai Madai saw the Sudarshan Chakra and they were very, very panicked and fearful. They went on the feet of Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu was about to kill them. And Nitai said, My dear Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please, please don't kill them. Chaitanya said, Why should I not kill? Didn't you read Bhagavad Gita? Paritrana sadhuna vinashaya duskrita. We are taking avatar to kill demons, and these both are demons. They harmed your body. So I will kill them. Nitai said, No, my dear Lord, in this avatar you don't kill demons. You don't kill papi people. You don't kill sinful people. Why? Why it doesn't kill? Nitai said, if you kill sinful people in this avatar, then earth will be empty, zero population. Then who will we preach? Because everybody is sinful. So in this avatar, you don't kill sinner, you kill sin. How do you kill sin? By Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So when sinners When conditioned soul chant the holy name of Krishna, the holy name comes out of the lips and goes into the ear. And from ear, the holy name goes into the heart and cleaning happens. That is the power of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. All the sinful reactions go away, all the sinful seeds go away, all the sinful desires go away, all the impetus to commit sinful activities go away, the sinful habits are cleaned. That is the power of the holy name. So in that way, Nitai convinced Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya said, Madai Jagai. Then Nitai said, this Jagai to saved me because Madai was second time hitting me, Jagai stopped me. And Chaitanya said, okay, Jagai, I'll give mercy, but Madai I will kill. And Madai said, no, no, please forgive me. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, if Nitai forgives, then only you get forgiven. And Chaitanya Nitai forgive them. And they make them pure devotees. So in Kali Yuga, everybody is sinful. And at the same time, nobody has taste or interest in spiritual life. First of all, most of the people don't know about Krishna. And those who know, they have no interest. They get him. They know there is a temple, ISKCON, I should go, but they have no interest to go. There are some who are interested. They are lazy. They don't wake up early morning. They are busy with something else. They are lazy. They are interested, but they are lazy. They don't chant in the morning. Some who are not lazy, active, they have different priority. They think earning money is a priority, purchasing is a priority, this is a priority. Okay, we balance our life, but we don't neglect Krishna consciousness. So that's Kali Yuga. So for such people, it has become very easy. Sit at home and chant Hare Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has arranged this Skype and Zoom and internet so that we can utilize it and sit at home or travel in a car and still hear this class or recorded class. So later on also we can hear. So this all is arranged by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so that more and more preaching can happen. More and more devotees can be nourished by chanting and hearing. It's a very great uh, opportunity we have to every day participate in this morning program. So please do this. If you can go to temple and attend Mangalarti, Guru Puja class, very nice. If not, then this is a good platform where we should continuously be part of every day. And in that way, we grow. So the creative process and the uncovering process a yogi has to undergo, same way Prthu Maharaj is undergoing. And as I said, for us, we just continue to practice and gradually we get detached. We get detached from everything around us. Whatever is my, I am thinking. Actually, I should use it in the service of Krishna, knowing well that He is the owner of everything. And in that we get attached to Krishna. So if you're attached to an object, use that object in service of Krishna and get attached to Krishna. And that will open the doors of liberation. Okay, we will end here. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any comments or questions, you may please ask. Hare Krishna. Meanwhile, I'll just take some water.
Thank you, Prabhu, for your nice presentation. Very wonderful, very inspiring to become attached to Krishna. So, if anybody like to say anything, what Prabhu said, or anything else related to spirituality.
Alanka Prabhu has posted.
Alankar posted a question. Let's see. Okay, so I can read the question, Prabhu.
Yeah.
In last verse, Prabhu mentioned how Bharat Maharaj fell from Bhav stage due to attachment to deer and not thinking of Krishna. But Prabhu also mentioned that Krishna is so merciful and a devotee has lived perfectly, but at the time of death he doesn't remember Krishna. Krishna makes him remember him. So why Krishna did not make Bharat Maharaj remember him? And in what case does Krishna help a devotee to remember him at the time of his death? Prabhu, you heard the question?
Yes. So, well, this is not to analyze Bharat Maharaj's bhakti. We are not qualified to judge him. But just as per the as far as the information is there, Krishna will remember a person who has whole life done bhakti, who is 100% perfect, and at the time of that he couldn't think of Krishna because the death was like that, in coma or in unconscious state or something like that. Bharat Maharaj deliberately, uh, uh, I mean, I should not use the word mistake because then I'm judging, but Bharat Maharaj deliberately got attached to the deer, and at the time of that specifically, uh, he was not thinking of Krishna. He was positively thinking of the deer, and at the end of his life, last few months, he was International Society for Deer Consciousness. Whole day he was deer, deer, deer. He was not chanting his rounds. He was not doing his rituals. Even if he was doing it, was just superficially. Most of the time he was spending time with the deer. So this is a lesson for us that if anything else becomes so dear that we forget Krishna, then we'll have to go one more bird. Okay, Alankar?
Alankar Prabhu, are you there on the call?
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have a question. Thank you for
Yeah.
the very nice class. Prithu Maharaj is a devotee. He saw Lord Vishnu. Four Kumaras came to him, told him about the devotional process. So then, why is he, presenting in Bhagavatam as if he's leaving the body through a yogic process?
Well, his success and progress is because of his devotional service, but those times and those ages, people were used to this process. So they will perform this yogic process also, and they will leave the body.
Okay, so sometimes Prabhupada says that these yogis, they can go back home, back to Godhead through this process, but unless they are a devotee, they cannot go back home, right? Because you need love for Krishna to
Right,
go back to Golok Vrindavan.
right. So these yogis, towards the end of life, if they come in contact with a pure devotee, because everything else is already done, very quickly they can develop 100% faith
Hmm.
and go back to Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Um, so I'm going with the Alankar Prabhu's question that um, this is the first time I understood the story of the Jagai Mata. I heard it so many times, but the way you explained was beautiful. So I'm going with the same question like Jagai Mata. They were so sinful, and still they got the mercy of the Prabhuji. And then Jad Bharat, he was very, very, devotee. Still he didn't get that mercy.
Where Bharat Maharaj got mercy just after one birth, he became a Brahmana and he left his body and went to Vaikuntha. So Bharat Maharaj's destination was after one birth or two births. It's not that he didn't get mercy, it's just that one extra birth he got as a deer body because he thought of deer at the time of death and he got attached to the deer. And as I said, we are not here to judge, but we learn from this that we should be very careful in our bhakti. And Jagai Madai got mercy because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, Nityananda Prabhu, they are very merciful. Even if you kind of hit them, they are still giving Krishna Prem. So they don't see the qualification. Namo Mahavadana hai, Krishna Prema Padayate, Krishna hai, Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gaura. So they hit Nitai, blood came out and still Nitai gave mercy. So that is glorifying the uh, mercy of God Nitai. But imagine if somebody gets mercy like that and again he gets attached to a deer or something like that, then again he'll have to go through one birth. So Bharat Maharaj got everything, he got attached, so he had to go through one birth. Ajamila also, he was so pure, but he got sinful, so he had to go through another episode in Haridwar. He had to continue his bhakti and then he went back to the same life.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Anybody else? Then question.
No questions, Prabhuji, but wanted to thank Gokuleshwar Prabhuji for the wonderful class. Pranay had a question, she was asking, Prabhuji was here yesterday, where is he now?
Hare Krishna, Pranaya.
Hello.
Ganesh.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hi, Krishna.
I am in New Jersey now.
New Jersey, okay?
I Thai.
Hare Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I didn't hear. Yeah, okay.
Okay, Prabhu. So I think nobody else has any questions. So we will end. And whenever you have time, Prabhu, you can come.
Yes, since in USA, whenever morning Bhagavatam class I am not giving, I can join in. I will let you know day by day.
Yes. Prabhu. So we can do like 7:30 also. So whatever time. 7
Right.
till-
So
till
here,
9.
yeah. I told you, yesterday they told 7:30 Guru Puja will end, but then there was Darshanarthi, so 7:40 I had to.
Okay, Prabhu. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Thank
jai.
you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you, Hare
Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.